Good morning, grade 11s. We are going to have a look at one of our cash budget questions. So this is exercise 7, and we are going to do the cash budgets for 2 months ending 31 December 2022. So we have been provided with the actual services rendered for 2 months prior to the months that we are preparing this budget for. And then we've also been provided with the budgeted services that we are hoping to render then for November and December. And the reason why they give us the actual services rendered for the months prior to the current budgeting period, together with the budgeting period's services rendered, is because, first of all, we might have some debtors here who will only make payment to us within our budgeting period. And then within our budgeting period, we need to see how much of this is cash and how much is then credit services rendered that we will not receive immediately. And then we also have the consumable stores that we bought, and that's actual, together with the budgeted consumables. Once again, some of it cash, some of it credit. So consumables, the things that we need in order to render the services. Okay. Then it tells us that consumables bought on credit are paid 30 days after the purchase had been made. In other words, whatever I purchased in September will only be paid in October. Whatever I purchased in October will only be paid in November. Remember, this is the credit ones because it's a credit that is paid 30 days after the purchase. Cash obviously is paid in the month of purchase. Then in November, whatever I purchase on credit in November will only be paid in December. And then whatever I purchase on credit in December will be paid in Jan. So in other words, I will not see my December credit purchases in my cash budget because I'm not doing the cash budget for January. I'm doing it for November and December because it says we are preparing the cash budget for the 2 months ending 31 December. Okay, then a loan from Utility Bank for 5,700 has been secured and will be received in November. Okay, so November is definitely part of my current cash budget period. And then repayments of the loan will be made in 6 equal installments starting the month after we've obtained the loan. So if we can get our calculators here. So we have secured the loan of 5,700 to be repaid in 6 equal installments, so divided by 6. So we will be repaying 950 Rand every single month, starting in December. Then it says that these two partners pay themselves a monthly salary of 1,500 each. So in other words, 3,000 Rand in total per month. This will be increased by 200 Rand each in December. So then it becomes 3,400. Okay, so just watch out for those each. It's not the total. Each one of them will get an increase of 200 Rand. Then the business has rented a cleaning machine from Equipco with a monthly rental of 550 Rand. The contract only expires on the 30th of June 2023. So in other words, for our full budgeting period, we are going to rent this machine, so 550 on a monthly basis. Then the partners need a second cleaning machine to expand their services. And it says that they've planned to purchase a second-hand cleaning machine costing 5,000 Rand, and this is going to happen in November. However, the full amount isn't going to be paid in November. A deposit will be paid in November of 1,300, and thereafter monthly installments of 600 from December onwards until we have paid the full 5,000 Rand. Okay, then Water and electricity cost is 300 Rand per month, and this will increase by 40 Rand in December. So 300 in November, and then 340 in December. Stationery will be bought cash on a monthly basis, so that's nice and easy. The amounts have been given, and then the bank account showed an unfavorable bank balance, so a negative 3,500 on the last day of October, meaning that in November we are starting with a negative cash balance. Right, so now that we understand everything that we've read, we will go to our cash budget answer book. Here we go. So cash receipts. We have cash from services rendered, and then see here, cash. So we don't have any debtors. Everything was cash. So cash from services rendered, we wanted for November and December, 6,000 and 8,500. Nice, plain and simple, just entering the amounts because we didn't have any credit services rendered. We will not have any cash from debtors either. Okay, so that's your services rendered. Then actual consumables bought. So remember that the cash component was paid in September and October. However, the credit component is only paid 1 month after the purchase. So in November, I need to pay the purchases made in October. So 400 Rand for my payment to creditors in November. Then whatever I purchase on credit in November will only be paid in December. Okay? And I also had cash purchases in both November and December. So in the month of purchase already paid. So I just indicate that it was November and December. Okay, right. So next is consumables bought on credit 30 days after purchase. We know that. We've done that. Then we have a loan from Utility Bank has been secured and will be received in November. So in November, you have a cash receipt because remember in the cash budget, we don't care about whether this is an asset, a liability, income. Whatever we received, this will go in, or we are expecting to receive will go into the cash budget. So we will then say loan obtained, and we will be receiving this in November, so 5,700 in November. Then it says that repayments of the loan will start in December. So then we have payments. So repayment of loan, not in November, only starting in December, 950 Rand. Okay. Then the partners pay themselves a salary of 3,000 Rand in total, and this will be increased to 3,400 in December. So in November, salaries amounted to 3,000, and then that increase kicked in, so 3,400. The business has rented a cleaning machine with a monthly rental of 550, so that's going to remain unchanged throughout the year, 8 months. So equipment rental, 550, 550. There we go. Okay. Then comes the additional cleaning machine that they want to purchase. And we said that they want to buy this in November. And then in November, they will pay a deposit. So it's another payment. So it's a deposit on equipment. And that is 1,300 in November. So we're only paying the deposit in November. After that, we are going to pay the monthly installments. So monthly equipment installment. And that is only being paid in December or from December onwards, so nothing in November. Right, the water and electricity per month will increase by 40 Rand. So water and electricity will start on 300 and then it will increase by 40 Rand per month starting in December. Nice and easy. Stationery board, so this is nice and easy. Stationery, it was in November, it's going to be 100. In December, it's going to be 120. Then you have your bank account that showed an unfavorable balance on the last day of October. So last day of October is what you're starting with on the 1st day of November. So it means that you started with an unfavorable, a negative bank balance of 3,500. Right, so that was nice and easy. Now we're going to add all of our receipts and all of our payments. So this is then 11,700. I will do that just to double check. There we go, 11,700. Then we're going to do the same for all our payments. So we're adding all of our payments. Please don't get used to referring to it as expenses, okay? Because then you're going to start answering expenses and then you're not going to get your marks because you have to be clear stating that it's payments that you are making. Okay, now, yes, 3,400, 550 plus 600. I have a feeling I made a typo somewhere because I was talking too much. So let me just double check. 550 plus 600 plus 340 plus 120. Okay, no, right. So it's the same as previously, yes. So 7,110. Okay, then we must calculate our cash surplus or shortfall. In other words, did I have more receipts than payments, or did I have more payments than receipts? If it's more receipts than payments, then I have a cash surplus. If it is more payments, then I have a cash deficit. In this case, we have a 5,600 surplus. So then you take your surplus and add it to your bank opening balance. But now you had a negative bank opening balance, so it's not going to be a plus, but a minus 3,500. So you are ending on 2,100 at the end of November. Whatever you ended on at the end of November is what you will start with at the beginning of December. And then you do the same thing. You take your total receipts for December minus your total expected payments for December. And there you have it. You have another cash surplus by the end of December. Add to that your opening balance, and you are ending on 3,490. And that's a nice and easy cash budget.